Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from Crypto Barbie. Breaking. The World Gold Council, together with Ripple partner BIS, is accelerating the launch of gold-backed stablecoins. But they go on to talk about XRP being backed by gold. And I always said it never needed to be backed by anything. Gold-backed tokens stabilize value by linking cryptocurrency to physical gold reserves. Ripple's XRP cuts costs by reducing bank-held reserves in international transfers. XRP supporters debate if a gold peg enhances or limits XRP's liquidity role. So now that the World Gold Council, alongside the BIS, is accelerating plans to introduce gold-backed stablecoins, this move reinforces gold's position as a Tier 1 asset under Basel III standards and aims to stabilize digital assets by linking them to physical reserves. So think about it like this. If XRP is seen as digital gold among institutions, then a path to a Tier 2 status for XRP is very possible. This can be where XRP will have a fixed value put upon it by the IMF, by the BIS, and so on. But I always said XRP is going to be moving so much value across the XRP ledger that it really doesn't need to be backed by anything. But this makes you look at XRP in a totally different way. This is how it could get to those thousands of dollars per XRP that Black Swan capitalist was talking about. And this makes sense to some extent. I want to see where this goes from here. We're not quite there yet. Breaking. The BIS announced Project Agora, involving several central banks and 5 of the top global reserve currencies. Ripple and Stellar lead the public-private partnership, bridging these currencies to establish a new payment system with commercial banks. The reason that the BIS chose XRP and XLM is because they are the best for moving value across borders. XDC is also going to play a very big role once digital trade starts to build out over time. But that's why in all the white papers from the BIS, they always cite Ripple and Stellar. BIS considers shutting down Embridge. The BIS is considering to close one of their longest running CBDC projects in Embridge. This could cause a ripple effect. Embridge is only CBDC in MVP stage, but this closure isn't for the reasons you think. It's not because there's a lack of demand for CBDCs or lack of framework on CBDCs, pushbacks on integrating CBDCs, but rather it's literally because the cross-border capabilities and solutions could seemingly disrupt geopolitical issues. BIS, Augustin Carstens, directly said that due to the ties with BRICS and Embridge, they couldn't support nations subject to sanctions. With both Iran and Russia currently in sanctions of their own, this poses various geopolitical issues, though the groundwork has already been laid. The past few years, we've been hearing more talk of BRICS in the cross-border payment space. Regardless of Embridge or not, I believe we're soon to truly see a disruption in cross-border payments. Now think about it like this. The BIS is thinking about shutting down Embridge. Russia, China, and the rest of the BRICS countries can still utilize RippleNet and still utilize the XRP ledger and XRP without working with Ripple. Anyone can use the XRP ledger and XRP. regardless of sanctions or not. So does the closing of Embridge open up the door for BRICS to utilize XRP and the XRP ledger directly? That could be where this is going. Jim Rickards talks about the new financial system, BRICS. They will be using a blockchain technology that has been around for a long time. David Schwartz, patent 1988. Like I said, it's been around for a long time, and this would make sense because you're going to have a massive liquidity pool in the middle, in between all these BRICS countries. And as they're sending payments back and forth from, say, Russia to China, China to India, they're going to be tapping into that massive liquidity pool. And sanctions are not going to stop them from using the XRP ledger. XRP is expected to greatly benefit from the broad migration to ISO 222. And I talked about this multiple times. I still see value in ISO. According to reports, this initiative would ensure rich structured party data and increase field size to provide a considerable level of transparency and efficiency. Per our investigation, this would be achieved by reducing delays caused by unstructured, incomplete, or inconsistent data. In this case, friction will be less in XRP's cross-border payment, encouraging faster and more efficient transfers. ISO would also ensure the maintenance of dedicated reference field to prevent any modification in its end-to-end payment journey. Also, there would be greater message harmonization across the payment industry. This implies that there would be a universal messaging type for all payments to enable the integration of many more schemes. But you see why Ripple and XRP is tied into ISO. It makes payments faster, cheaper, and more secure. That's what everyone is looking for right now. They don't want to wait for money to move from one country to another. They don't want to wait days for that to happen. And they no longer want to pay those high fees. This is why they will choose to utilize RippleNet and XRP over time. The XRP ledger amendment goes live. It actually went live the day before Halloween. DID, decentralized identifiers, in Web3 can be pretty confusing when looking into how they work. So first, what is a DID? The term DID usually refers to a decentralized identifier. A DID is a unique, user-owned identifier that isn't controlled by any central authority. A DID is roughly equivalent to a fingerprint in the real world. Everyone has one, and though it doesn't really do anything on its own, it's useful in other contexts. For example, it can connect to verifiable credentials or other data that prove you are who you say you are. But like I said, this is not a digital ID either, because it's not controlled by any central authority. It just identifies you on the ledger. And this is that XLS-40 amendment. So that is now live on the XRP ledger. Guy Young, CEO, Athena Labs, explains that there are only two major use cases for blockchain at scale. That's trading and using dollars. Bitcoin failed as a payment mechanism. It's my opinion that blockchains like the XRP ledger thrive as market-making infrastructure, strictly for trading tokenized assets and deploying them into DeFi primitives. Take a listen.
I think the story for Bitcoin is sort of, found a more narrow use case of a store of value through time, and that medium of exchange has sort of dropped away. But I do think it is worth just considering that the growth of stablecoins is kind of actually the most valuable thing that Ethereum is providing right now, which is you've only really got two real use cases of blockchains at scale which is trading and it's using dollars in there, and it's the storage of stablecoins for a store of value. And so if stablecoins didn't exist, I think ETH wouldn't be worth much at all. And part of the value is actually derived by the growth and success of stablecoins.
And over time, even the store of value narrative for Bitcoin is disappearing because gold is once again looking like a better store of value than Bitcoin. And that's going to happen time and time again. That's why you see a lot of people push away from Bitcoin and invest in gold as an alternative. But it's true. XRP Ledger, once RLUSD goes live and tokenization really starts to pick up momentum, you're going to see the XRP Ledger take off in value like never before. XRP is going to be moving all of that value, and it can't be sitting at a cheap price to do that. It's got to be at a much, much higher price. Age-old story, an ultra-wealthy land grab strategy of weakening institutions so they can buy assets and power for pennies on the dollar. So Elon Musk is saying, no matter what, an economic collapse is happening, even if Trump is elected. Elon Musk has offered a sobering preview of Donald Trump's economic plan for America if he is reelected, revealing that a period of intentional temporary hardship is on the horizon for American households. Rather than cautioning against it, Musk described this hardship as necessary and inevitable, supporting Trump's blueprint for reconstructing the economy by slashing government programs. Musk's remarks, shared in a telephone town hall organized by his America PAC, indicate that he and Trump see economic pain to average Americans as a necessary cost of their policy goals. Now, I think what's going to happen is this. We are going to have a major crash in 2025. Everything is setting up for that to happen. And once that crash happens, that's when we will transition into the new digital financial system. I think we need that crisis to happen in the US so we can push into the new financial system. And Larry Fink knows that the Fed is going to cut rates once again. Take a listen.
Before the Fed finishes this year, would you expect a 25 basis point rate cut or a 50 basis point, or you don't know?
I think it's fair to say we're going to have at least a 25, but that being said, I do believe we have greater embedded inflation in the world than we've ever seen. We have government and policy that is much more inflationary, whether it's immigration, excuse me, our policies of onshoring. All of this, no one is asking the question at what cost. Right. Historically, we were, I would say, a more consumer-driven economy that the cheapest products were the best, the most a progressive way of politicking. Today, I think we have governmental policies that are embedded inflationary. And with that being said, I think we're not going to see interest rates as low as some people are forecasting.
He already knows that we're going to see inflation rise into 2025. And once the Fed cuts rates even more, if he does even a 0.25% this year, that solidifies a recession for next year and higher inflation, leading us into most likely bank after bank collapsing, because that's all part of the plan as well, consolidate the banks. Also, the real estate bubble is going to pop, and most likely a major crash in the stock market as well, because that's what everybody's warning of right now. And that's going to take place no matter who the president is. U.S. Treasury says stablecoins should be replaced by a CBDC. Janet Yellen is already getting you prepared for what's coming next. The U.S. Treasury Department is concerned about the growth of the stablecoin market and believes privately issued stablecoins should eventually be replaced by a state-backed central bank digital currency, according to a Treasury report released on Wednesday. In a similar manner to how privately issued wildcat currencies were replaced by government-backed central currencies in the late 1800s, CBDC will likely need to replace stablecoins as the primary form of digital currency underpinning tokenized transactions. So they're already preparing for a CBDC, but I don't think they're going to call it a CBDC. They're going to give it a fancy name. Maybe it's the new Treasury dollar or digital dollar stablecoin, but it's definitely coming in the United States. It's going to come once the crash happens. Russia fines Google 20 decillion, more than global GDP. So BRICS member Russia fined Google $20 decillion in the world. That's more than all the money in the world. According to a Wednesday report, 17 Russian TV channels went to a Russian court to bring claims against the tech giant for blocking pro-Kremlin content. Google recently banned Kremlin accounts on YouTube, which it owns, as a result of international sanctions. So those sanctions, I'm telling you, they keep sanctioning Russia. Russia has an answer to their sanctions. I still think they're going to push ahead with RippleNet and XRP. They're going to utilize the XRP ledger. And that's how they're going to transact inside of BRICS. Because they're not going to use SWIFT, and they're not going to come up with their own alternative. They're going to come up with something that is already embedded inside of every BRICS country. Ripple has all the rails put in place already in every single BRICS country. All they have to do is plug and play with all the other countries, and they could go live very quick with XRP. But I'm sure we will watch this all play out over the next year or so. Russia wants to go live with their CBDC in July of 2025. I think they're going to speed that up as well, now that the US is threatening even more sanctions. But like I always tell you, until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.